Okay. Oh, it worked. Okay, we're good.
Good Shabbos. My name is Shannon Martin, and I am the VP for Youth and Education at Congregation Near Tamid. Welcome. Just a few announcements this evening. Our religious school starts off this Sunday, August 18th. If you have yet to sign up and would like to do so, please reach out to Haley to join in on the fun. She's right out there. I will just throw in, it's not on the paper, but we have our first Parent Connect meeting on Sunday at 9:15 as well, so please come join us. The CNT Senior Schmoozers will invite members and not yet members aged 65 and over to a magical midday experience on Monday, August 19th at 12 p.m. Their abracadabra event will include refreshments, entertainment, and more. RSVP today. Also, join us next Friday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. for Shabbat in the Round services. And Next Gen invites CNT's young adults, 21 to 40-ish, out for a night of laughs at Bagel Mania's Backroom Comedy Night on Thursday, August 29th at 7:15. Tickets are $20 to attend, and space is limited. And then last announcement, our Mensch Club is doing its first annual golf tournament. It is November 10th on a Sunday. Please see a member of Mensch Club if you would like to sponsor or play. Dylan Martin's back there. He can answer any questions if you would like. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Do we have any golfers here? Raise your hand if you're a golfer.
This is what happened last time you asked.
I know. I'm looking. Come on now.
Apparently
Does
the Jewish people of
anyone
Henderson
golf?
do not golf.
We're in trouble here, Warren. All right, we need some golfers. Any golfers? Anyone would like to learn to play golf?
Jeremy has a team.
All right. If you know of a golfer, whether they're part of our community or not, the Mensch Club is looking for them. It's going to be a fabulous new fundraiser for them. They're going to do a lot of good with it. So you do not have to be members of the Mensch Club or apparently a member of this congregation because we don't have enough golfers, but I know that they are out there. All right, Cantor.
Yes.
So it is back to Shul Shabbat. Can you say that 3 times real fast? Back to Shul Shabbat.
Back to Shul, back to Shul, back to Shul.
That's pretty hard.
I do vocal warm-ups for a lot of years.
Okay, and we look at these young people that are coming back to Shul, but there is another, perhaps a little bit more mature student who's also going back to Shul.
Yes.
And what's going on?
I have my last year in rabbinic school, and let's just say for school forever, which I said after cantorial school, but I kind of mean it this time.
So this is your
and
last
I go back on
year?
Monday, yeah.
All right.
My last.
So by the
year.
end of this
degree.
thing, then I can retire.
Yeah.
You can become a rabbi.
Sure.
And if it doesn't work out, you'll just be a rabbit and
I'll go back
stay
to school
on.
and become a doctor? I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either. All right, so say prayers for Rabbi, say prayers for me. Should all work out. It's going to be a great year. And Sunday's the first day of religious school. We're looking forward to it. All right. What are we going to do? Eddie.
Did Eddie have a simcha anytime recently?
Oh, yeah. Eddie, did you have a simcha? Oh, what happened? Daughter Tracy got married. All right.
Yay.
Mazel tov. That is
Yes.
great. And
It was-
who was the wonderful person who officiated? Right here in
It was
beautiful
very
San
fun.
Jose. That is a wonderful thing. All right. Take it away, Eddie. A little nigun.
We're going to start with a Hine Matov. Are you guys ready? Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. All right, let's try it again. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Matov, Hine Matov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. That was actually one of the songs we used in our concert in Ramat HaNegev. It's pretty cool.
That's beautiful. All right. Mitzvah of kindling the Shabbat lights. Leah has her bat mitzvah tomorrow, and so we'd like to invite her and the Miller family to come on up, page 120, 121, for the mitzvah of kindling the Shabbat lights. The source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
As a reminder, we light 3 Shabbat candles again this week. One for the hostages who are not able to light their Shabbat candles. God willing, they'll be able to light them next week.
You know, they say Jews are brilliant people, and we still cannot invent a candle for Shabbat that's easy to light. God, get our people on that, please. Right now. $124 at the bottom. Together, may the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We continue with Lachado D, page 138.
We're bringing in some of the classic melodies you may not have heard in a little while. We'll do verses 1, 2, and 9.
דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ותפארת ולתהילה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise to greet the Shabbat Queen.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונה לקראת כלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לה 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה.
I'm going to take one rabbi privilege. That wasn't quite classic enough for me. We all have to be clapping. All right, can we do that? One more time, last refrain. Can we do it?
Sure.
All right, let's everybody clap. Let's give it a try.
לך לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה. That was better.
That's how I remember
That
it.
is better. You're right. Okay.
We remain standing for the Baruch on page 146.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
We remain standing. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set us course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamari v'aravim.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Le'olam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated. Do I start? Okay. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol lavavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha ve'shinantam levanecha V'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'vetecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shakbecha uv'kumecha, ug'shartam leot al yadecha, v'hayulatafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam amezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yetem kiroshim leluechem ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Sheitietem Me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם.
All right, I want to take a moment. If you are in our preschool or our religious school and you want to come up and help me with the next couple of prayers, come on up. Come on up. All right. Anytime tonight. All right, come on, Milia. All right, so this one has a clap in it, okay? So it's mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Clap, 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 clap. Can you just try the clap, 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 clap? Clap, 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 clap. It's a little faster. Clap, 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 clap. Good. All right, you got it. Are you guys ready? Okay, here we go.
Mi chamocha ba'elim
Adonai
Hamocha nedar
Kodesh. Follow me. Nora clap tehillah. Everybody now. One more time.
Mi hamocha ba'elim
Adonai
Mi hamocha nedar
Kodesh.
Here we go. Nora tehillah. Everybody now. Oh, say fele. Oh, say fele.
Oh, say fele. Oh, say
Fele. Now we're going to turn to our prayer about keeping Shabbat and the joy of keeping Shabbat. Shamru v'nei
Israel
et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beritolam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam beritolam.
Israel,
Oti leo
Shabbat. Shabbat.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני
את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
Nafsot, that's how you Shabbat. Next time,
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש,
שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Last time, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Rhodes, do you know a choreography for that I don't know? I think there was a choreography your dad was giving you that I don't know. I have to learn that after the service. Okay. I love it. New choreography. All right, thanks, guys. I'll call you back for Kiddush and Motzi. We turn to page 164 for the Amidah, our standing prayer. Please rise.
Adonai
Sefatai tiftach ufiya gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakom, Ve'safher Chasdei Avot V'Imaot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Le'Yoshia Morid Hatal Melchaikel Chaim B'Chesed Hayei Hakol B'Rachamim Ramim Somech Noflim B'Rofech Holim Umotir Azurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamoha Baal Gevurot Umidol Melech Melech Mimid Umechaye Umatzmiya Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah Lechayot Hakol Baruch atah Adonai Lechayeh Hakol.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue in silent prayer through page 180, 181. You can use the words on the right or the left side of the page or the words within your heart. When you have completed your private prayers, please be seated.
The power of prayer is perhaps in prayer itself, that there is something, an emotion, a feeling, a hope that lies within us that we wish the world was a little bit different than what it is. It could be so many different things that we're thinking about, but when we recite Misha Berach, it has to do with the health of people that we love, or perhaps a personal prayer. Perhaps it has to do with physical illness or matters of the heart, addiction to, matters of the mind, whatever it might be. We're reaching out to God Almighty, and in so doing, we reach inside ourselves, pulling and tugging at our heart, saying, please, God, let this be different. Let healing come about for those that we care about. Let healing come about for me. That the pain is lessened, that the hurt understands that even in pain we are not alone, although it can feel lonely. And so every time we say the names of people for our Misha Berach list, it reminds us that they're not invisible, they are seen. We can't often see the pain. Sometimes we can, but for the most part, we see it through Misha Berach. We say the names and we understand that there are people who really count on us, and we count on them to find that sense of humanity that we take for granted, and the world that we want to be more healed when it is broken. So I say these names first simply because they've been submitted to the temple, but there are so many names that if all of us said our entire Misha Berach list of people we know, we would be here for a long time. And so we say a name or two or three as a way of representing all those in our circle who are in need of our prayer. And so I begin with Nachman Bratbauer, Dr. Alan Herbert Judman, Beverly Arnofsky, Riva Skoll, Orion Miller, Lillian Auspitz, Lou Goldberg, the Walls family, Logan Knapp and family, Shoshana Ham, Lori Fletcher, Kim Botwin, Elana Bat Avram Va'aliyah, Stu Blumenfeld, Sharna Blumenfeld, Amber Holdorf, Tony Bess Patchell, friends and family in Medinat Yisrael, and of course I always think of my sister Dina. If you would like to say a Misha Berach for someone in your circle, please simply stand and say their names as my eyes look your way.
Kim Rodriguez, Vincent Rodriguez, Howard Spanier, Dave Roth, Lucy Roth. Paul Loudon, Andrea Gale, Annette Aronson, Sharon Kaufman, Tyler and Shauna Rasmussen, Nancy Boykin, Jody Stein. Mi sheberach avotenu mikor abracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who'll bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bisheberach imotenu mikor abracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Please be seated. Well, we have a very special award to give out tonight.
So I want to tell them a little bit about the history of the award. You can see I'm into legacy this year. So, believe it or not, about 30 years ago, I was at someone's home wondering how are we going to get more children to come to a religious school. And one of the kids who was wondering about said, "Pizza, Rabbi, pizza." And I said, "You mean if we gave you pizza, you'd come?" They go, "Oh, yeah." I'm thinking, all right. And then we got to talking, and we decided, well, what about a little punch card? And whichever class came the most collectively, they would get a pizza party. And they said, "We're all in for that." And for quite a few years, we ended up with a little bit of competition amongst classes where they wanted to be the one who would get that pizza party. Who knew? God knew, right? Pizza. Maybe it was Godfather Pizza? I don't know. That was, sorry, long way for that pun. And then it kind of morphed into, you know, whoever comes the most, we need a name, a special award for it. And we called it the Shomer Torah Award, because when you come to services on a regular basis, you become part of that notion of minyan, that you count, that you matter, and the community counts. You are a guardian of the Torah. And the first winner of that is Jolie Brislin. Believe it or not, Jolie was our very first one, and she holds that with pride. And I mention it frequently with pride because everybody can grow up and be a Jewish leader, but it starts really by being part of a community and then becoming protective of that community, which we understand, especially this year, as being so important. And so the tradition has morphed into many different iterations depending upon who's head of school, but the honor of receiving that award has remained, and then they have another honor, and that is on Yom Kippur. On the family services, they get to hold a Torah with their family for Kol Nidre. So it's really, really special. So Cantor, who is our award winner, or who are our award winners?
Well, our first award winner is Rhodes Stam.
All right, Rhodes. And these people do not know it. Rhodes did not know it. So come on, let's give Rhodes a little applause.
Our second one is Serena Goldman.
All right, so we have two this year. So these two individuals, one from lower grade, one from a little bit of upper grades, have last year come to services the most, setting a wonderful example to all the other students, and it's deeply appreciated. All right, and then a word to the parents, and we applaud you because they can't walk here, all right? It's only because we're not an Orthodox shul, otherwise they'd be walking, right? But our good friend David here wants to take an official picture right after services. So if you could come, we're kind of doing an informal picture now, but we want to take an official one. All right, so what does it say?
Yeah, let's see what it says. It's too much to unwrap it, so I'm going to Congregation Ner Tamid Shomer Torah Award 2324, Rhodes Stam. And I'm assuming yours has Serena Goldman on it. So.
All right, wonderful. Let's hear it for them very, very much. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Mazel tov. All right. I hope you hold that as a place of honor your whole life. It really makes us proud. So instead of a sermon at this spot, Cantor and I had a little talk, and we're going to do a conversation after Kaddish and after we do Kiddush and Motzi, more of not a compelling conversation, but really drawing her out on some of her feelings and emotions about her journey to Israel. So we're going now to our concluding prayers. Let's all rise for Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
If you're watching on the live stream, we invite you at this time to submit the names of those you are thinking of for Kaddish prayers. Whether you have recently lost someone, you are in Shana, the year of mourning, or you are observing a Yortzeit, we invite you to submit those names now. Those who have recently left us: Francis Sayowitz, Peggy Titans, Rita Joy Resnick, Anthony Rochford, Irina Molaski, Mary Regina Sell, Liam Walls, Gertrude Ginsburg. We say Yortzeit for Lily Collins, Donald Yaris, Albert Friedmutter, Bernard Katz, Mildred Schiffman, George Levine, Rose Lewis, Rose Sandberg, Miriam Wattman, Seymour Poster, Morris Schwartz, Blanca Del Valle, Stella Gittleman, Sydney Diamond, Frido Landolfi, Sandor Ospitz, Robert Shaffrin, Alfred Correa, Judith Liebert, George Brody, Jerry Friedman, William Schultz, Stanley Berkowitz, Al Nicow, Simon Chenin, Fanny Fine, Solomon T. Brotman, Seymour Brown, Larry Goldberg, Milton Carroll. If there are names of people you are thinking of who were not named tonight, please rise and say their names at this time. Justin Acosta, Bree, Anna, Tiffany, Baca Bospringa, Douglas A. Mendoza, Eli Berger.
As we think of these and others who have touched our hearts, we rise for Kaddish 598. Yit Kadal V'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah V'yalma Divrach Chirute V'yamlich Malchute B'chayechon V'yomechon V'chayed Echol Beit Yisrael B'agalav Ezman Kari V'yimru Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Omei Amaya Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Ba'ar V'yit Ramam V'yit Naseh V'yit Hadar V'yit Taleh V'yit Halal Shmei Dekusha Brichu Leila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tush Bechata V'nechemata Dami Ram Bialma V'imru Amen Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shamai V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen Oseh Shalom B'mramav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say Amen. You may be seated.
All right, as Haley gets our video queued up, we're going to invite back up any of our religious school and preschool friends who want to be up here for Kiddush and Motzi. And we want to invite Leah and anyone from her family that wants to be up here. Where were all these religious school kids when I called them up to? Okay. Hello. It's over there. You want mine? Who's got So the video you're about to see, if you've been here for all three of the sermon weeks, Israel sermon weeks, I had a total of 5 videos. This is the 5th and final video. It's the pictures I hadn't put up yet, and not even, I still have more. It kind of shows a different angle that we're going to talk about tonight, that Rabbi is going to ask me some questions about tonight. And the music that you'll hear in the background is the Rimon School of Music, which is partnered to the Berklee School of Music in Boston, and they are an incredible school out of Tel Aviv. They learned this piece of music before we got there. We were handed this piece of music, and together 60 Cantors and the Rimon School of Music did this beautiful a cappella piece that I'm using as the backdrop to
שכולם שבים הביתה. לא בדיבורים, אל תמכור לנו מילים. את כולם! את כולם! את כולם!
First of all, I want to say how proud I am of our Cantor for making what was a most difficult trip to Israel and representing our congregation, and then pulling together cantors from, different parts of the United States and Israel to perform a concert. Think about it. This whole thing started when a concert was taking place, and then when the tragedy hit, the first thing goes, when will we be able to sing again? All we know is silence and the inability to articulate our emotions. But time went by, not that long. I mean, it's not been a year. So tell us a little bit. I went in January, the end of January, February, and the emotions there are still strong. How did this whole idea about going to Israel, doing a concert, remind the congregation how that all came about and why it was so important to you?
Well, we spoke about it last week, that Alan Mann was kind of the driving force to get me to go to Ramat HaNegev, to our sister region, and then it came about to do this concert, and then it all stalled when October 7th happened. But I had planned to go to Israel since last June, when I found out that the next convention for the American Conference of Cantors was going to be in Israel, and I thought, this sounds like the perfect time to do this. I was even considering bringing my family with me, and it all kind of came together at a certain point a few months ago where we thought, I think we can do this together, where if we're bringing this humanitarian mission by the ACC, we also can bring this concert to the desert, to Midreshet Ben Gurion, to right outside of Ben Gurion's grave in Sde Boker, and bring that community some solace, because there are communities all over Israel that really need to hear the music.
So what was it like being there and looking at their faces? How did they respond? Was it healing? Was it hopeful?
At the concert itself, it was a lot of tears of feeling the solidarity from us. There was a lot of times people came up to us throughout the entire journey to say thank you for coming, that they don't know, they can't express how much it means to them that we came all the way across the world just to give them, a hug, or to give them music, or to hear their story. And it's become, for many of them, the survivors, their purpose to tell that story. And every time they tell it, one of the soldiers who was wounded, he mentioned that every time he tells the story, he feels a little bit of healing, and so he tells it as much as he can, and whoever will listen. So it was a beautiful opportunity.
Oftentimes in our own families, we know someone who experiences a loss, and what do we do? What do we do? And being present is a big part of it. You may not have anything to say, let alone sing, but to let that person that they're not alone. And so here, Israel, we talk about them being our brothers and sisters. So when you make that journey, you don't make that just a slogan. It really means, Am Yisrael, we are a people and we are one. And sadly, as anti-Semitism has reared its ugly head, one of the points Israelis who have been on this bima have made is, we have suffered our loss, but now anti-Semitism has reared its ugly head. And without being too morbid, they say you could be next. And it just reminds me, it's tough being a Jew right now, that the people who were victimized are now being called the oppressors. And so when you go there to give them solace, you're really speaking so strong about solidarity. And there's that square, hostage square. We saw the images. Did you go in the tunnel?
Yeah, they took that video for a moment I showed you. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell them what hostage square organically came about. What is it? You know, if they ever go to Tel Aviv, what is it now that people are going to?
It started, to my knowledge, I think the Shabbat after October 7th, someone set up a table of where the hostages would, their place settings of where they would have sat for Shabbat dinner, and where they're not able to sit. And these place settings it was difficult. And they had, even for the children, they had high chairs and sippy cups, and it grew to, there was a piano that one of the musicians would have played, and people would go there to play music and commemorate this person in particular, but you could play it at any time. And it kind of grew into this place where you saw the yellow chairs, and it said Achshav, which means now, like bring all of these people who would have been sitting in these chairs home right now. And they put the tunnel to give people an idea of what it's like for many of the hostages that are being held captive. What I didn't play, because I didn't want it to be traumatic, was they include the sounds, they include the depth, I mean, I couldn't stand up straight in the tunnel. I had to duck down, and just being in the darkness was very profound. And now it's a place that every Saturday night, as Shabbat ends and Havdalah is done in Hostage Square, usually the progressive movement. In Israel, they don't exactly differentiate Reform Conservative. They have the progressive movement of Judaism. Their leaders will lead Havdalah prayers, and some of them every single week since October 7th. And people will come from all over the world. One of the pictures I showed was Michael Rappaport was there. We led it that week, which was a big honor. And then the protests begin, and the chants for people to come home begin. And it's loud and it's powerful, and it is usually all in Hebrew. So if you're not completely fluent in Hebrew, you would think that you wouldn't like what it would mean to you, but you can feel it, the passion in their voices, even if you don't catch every word. And thousands of people stand in the street, thousands. Half of the population of Israel, they say, are taking part in the protests. And there are two protests, the one there at Hostage Square, and then down the street there's another one protesting their government, specifically what's happening now, and just the fall of what they feel is democracy, which is a whole different sermon. But people are standing up. The people are standing up and saying what they want, which is very powerful. And it's, I don't know how much movement it's made, but it definitely proves a point.
There's a little bit of a movement in Israel. First, everyone was united in destroying Hamas and understanding that it would take time to get the hostages home. And now, actually, a majority, I don't know how significant the majority is, but the majority is, let's just have a ceasefire. Let's understand that this is the best we're going to do against Hamas, and they may live to fight another day, but so will we, but we want the hostages home now. So there's now been an emotional shift among Israelis themselves, and I don't know if you saw what the polls I've read, was that reflected on your journey, that more and more people just say, you know what, let's just get these hostages home and have a ceasefire.
Everywhere. So that chant, Et Kulam Achshav, that you heard, it goes on and on and on. And it's all over, not just on Havdalah. Every business, every palm tree on the beach in Tel Aviv has a picture of a hostage, has a bring them home now, a yellow ribbon. It's literally everywhere. You can't not see it. You are confronted with the fact that there are missing people in Israel at every turn, and it's profound and it's meaningful. And there was, of all the people I talked to in 15 days, there was one person in Sde Boker, very close to the border, the first person I met at the Gaza envelope, who said, "It is what it is, we have to win this fight." That one person. Yes, that's the goal is to have peace. I think that's the win. But he was the one that said that,
No, the goal isn't peace. The goal is to destroy Hamas.
That too.
Right.
Yeah.
That in his mind.
Right. So he was upset because because I was wearing the shirt that I wore a few weeks ago that says "Bring them home now," and he said they can't do that until they win this war. One person. Everybody else, bring them home. Bring them home. Thank you for wearing the shirt.
So most people were where he was when the war started, but now it's started to kind of turn.
Yeah. And I heard something on Times of Israel when I got home, which was, I've never seen a hostage situation become political. Shouldn't it always be humanity? We bring humans home. Wasn't this inhumane from the moment it happened? How is this a political situation? And it really has become a political situation. Depending on where you stand, is where you stand on the hostages as well. And that kind of blows my mind. But it was comforting to see, by and large, Israeli, Palestinian, Christian, everybody wants to see the hostages home.
One last subject, well, maybe two. The hostages, big part, but you also went to the Kotel. And Kotel, the Wailing Wall, the Western Wall, we've all been there. I've taken maybe 30 groups, and we pull over the bus, and they got 30 minutes to go to the Kotel, and everyone goes there, and they leave a little prayer in the cracks of the Kotel. And that has been the experience of millions of Jews and politicians. But over the last, 20 years, there's an organization called Women of the Wall, and they're trying to return the Kotel to where it was before the Six-Day War, where it was not an Orthodox synagogue. If you look at pictures before 1967 of the Kotel, there was no mechitza. And then right after the Six-Day War, boom. So that's kind of what the Women of the Wall organization is fighting for. But you had a big part this year. What did it feel like? Because this is visiting the Kotel in a whole different way for you.
Right. I've visited the Kotel, let's say, 6 or 7 times. This time was very different. Just out of curiosity, who here has been to HaKotel, to the wall?
Who's been to the wall?
Okay, so many people. So you know the entrance. You know that you have to go through security. If you saw in the pictures, all of the women standing at the women's entrance, that we were all bottlenecked together, it was the Orthodox have reign over the security guys and girls, and all the men were getting through very quickly, and the women, they were purposely stopping one at a time, wanding us, going through the middle, purposely going super slow, because Shacharit had begun and Women of the Wall had begun, and there was 30 women from our group trying to get in, and we couldn't. And I wrote a little bit about it in my Facebook post because there was some really touchy moments there. It's the first time I've experienced that particularly. There were a lot of stares, a lot of chanting not so nice things because many of us were wearing kippot. And we finally got through. I had to push my way through. I was finally just told, start pushing. And we had to push our way through, and whoever got through, and eventually got in. Once we got to the wall itself, I was surprised. It was not Orthodox men, Haredi men, that were yelling. It was the women. They did not like that we had our own sidurim, that we had brought a Torah in, which is essentially, it's sort of smuggled in, they see it through security, and sometimes they confiscate it. That morning, thank God they didn't. It was Rosh Chodesh. And there was probably a dozen women from 11 years old to elderly that were chanting at us, telling us to go to Gaza, to we're ruining Judaism, this is blasphemy, like all in Hebrew, but it was translated for us later. I mean, we knew they were yelling at us. And then we would put our cameras on them and they would pretend that they weren't doing that. Like they would only do it unless they didn't want to be seen doing it on camera. And I finally was able to tune them out and start to pray, as you saw in the video. And it was powerful to be able to have a Torah at the wall, because the women's side is so much smaller than the men's side. Like, why? Okay, you're gonna have two sides. Can you at least make it like equal? Like, why does it have to be so small? So women are always really crowded if you go over to the wall to the women's side. Men always have like a lot of room. Have you already, like, it looks like you guys always have a lot of room over there. So that's part of it. And then we can pray silently to ourselves, but you can't pray out loud like that and sing. So to be able to sing with this group of women, to be able to learn Torah with this group of women and say, like, yeah, I am a woman, hear me roar, like, and just shut out all of the noise around us was very powerful. It's something it's been on my bucket list for at least 15 years to be able to be there, and to be there on Rosh Chodesh when the Torah is being read is incredible. So it was heartbreaking to see that we were dividing ourselves in Judaism by prayer. Like, if you step back for a second and think about this, we're mad at each other because of the way we're praying. That doesn't make any sense. Literally, like, we're in this war where people don't even want Israel to exist, and we're fighting with each other about the way we pray. So the whole thing is crazy, but the fact that we were able to do it, and there's this big group of women who come and join together from all over the world once a month or for holidays to pray together it's really amazing.
All right, so I'll be devil's advocate. If it ain't broke, why fix it? In other words, if American Jews, such as you, didn't go to the Kotel and stir things up, I mean, it's an Israeli problem. They're there, we're here. They seemed happy enough. Why stir up? Why are we messing with this?
It's Israelis, the Israeli Jews, the progressive
It's not a big
movement.
issue for Israelis. It's not a big issue in Israel, how the
Okay.
Kotel is. It's
Yeah,
a
but
big it's a
the
big
people who
issue
are there all
for
the time are
for
usually-
us as Reform Jews. That's kind of as American Jews and women's rights. But in Israel, I don't know if the women cared that much.
Look, Anat Hoffman started it. She had a vision. She brought a lot of HUC students and progressive students who were there into this. There's an iconic picture of Becky doing this that made some international news a few years ago. It matters to us. Like, Judaism in the diaspora matters just as much as Judaism in Israel, and we're all connected, Am Yisrael. So if it's their problem, it's our problem. If it's our problem, it's their problem. It's a problem when you can't have egalitarian prayer. Like, that is a part of Jewish life, and it should be a big deal.
I'll add another layer to my own question, because it was really more devil's advocate, and that is, in Israel, they often think there's either orthodoxy or you're nothing. And Reform Judaism and Conservative Judaism is trying to change that. And when we bring these values to Israel, it opens up their eyes and their hearts, and they understand that there is another way beyond orthodoxy, and that can actually bring secular Israelis closer to Judaism. And part of that is, the iconic Kotel, that they should understand that it's available to non-Orthodox Jews, and that it belongs to the entire Jewish people. So I think it's fair game when we protested the Kotel, because it doesn't just belong to the Israelis, and I think the Israeli government knows that. Every tourist who goes to the Kotel, where Israelis really don't go to the Kotel per se, but we do. The Kotel really belongs to world Jewry and not just to Israel. So last thought, the sermon, we had maybe our signals crossed, but they understood that you were going to give a sermon about hope. So the last question is, hope. Give us a hopeful message, Cantor.
If you ask any given Israeli at the moment, can you give me a positive spin on what's happening right now? Because you hear a lot of negative. It's a difficult time to be in Israel. We know this. It depends where you are, but a few hopeful things I saw. We went to the west, right at the border of the West Bank. So the West Bank border doesn't actually have a wall. It's just like, it's the border. There's a place there called Feel Bait. It's a feel at home, essentially, in both Arabic and in Hebrew. And it's a place where Palestinians and Israelis can come together and create art and share in food and have a common message to share with the world. And it's intellectual and it's profound and it's really beautiful. We were served this beautiful, I had never had Palestinian food, which you would think, I didn't realize actually is very similar to Israeli food, but different. I encourage you to try it sometime if you have the chance. It was at this spot, I think I had a picture of it, where you could see all of Jerusalem. And I stood out there as I was listening to the music happening inside, and I just thought, this is the hope. This is the dream, is to be able to be amongst our neighbors and friends, and for them to say, we were embarrassed by October 7th. This is not how we get to our two-state solution or our common, whatever it is that's going to bring us to a place of peace and friendship. This is not how we get there. And just to listen to each other was so important. And so there was a lot of hope in that space. And even the news today about what's happening in the West Bank, I think about Feel Bait, and I'm wondering, please give them hope. Please teach them how to do this. So there's hope there. There's hope in these people who are praying with their feet every single week to bring hostages home, to change their government, and to make sure that Israel is what Ben-Gurion wanted it to be when he dreamt of it, to have their voices heard. There's hope there. I can't speak, I'm not Israeli, so I don't want to speak for what their government should or shouldn't be, but I'm inspired with hope for how they're speaking up for whatever they want. There's hope for us if we teach our children here in the diaspora about Israel, and we show them not to be afraid. We show them that it's a place that we want them to go. And if we don't do that, it could there is an existential crisis here. There's a lot that is at stake. So it is up to us, but there's a lot of hope here in our synagogues, in our communities, that are teaching Israel in a positive light. And so we have to hold on to that. We have to listen and learn.
And perhaps it reminds us, the younger generation, just how important Israel is to us. And it's not just a little Jewish Disneyland we go to and snap our pictures at the Kotel or wade in, the Dead Sea. It is an idea. It is a value. It is a country. It is a holy place, and I guess we learn we can't take it for granted. So let's end with Hatikva. Cantor, would you lead us in that? Let's all rise. Sure. and sing a song of hope, the anthem of the Jewish people, everyone. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Leave in peace, leave with hope. We have a beautiful oneg. It's a Where's Waldo? Where is it? Is it in the social hall or the foyer?
It's in the lobby.
The lobby.
And we have some souvenirs from Israel, some treats that are my favorites from Israel, and they should all be nut-free. So.
All right. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Serena.